Okay, folks, welcome to the Romans Road, and we're in Romans 8, verse 32. We've just read in verse 31, what then shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? And then verse 32, he who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, how will he not also, along with him, graciously give us all things? Now the question there is, can we actually lose God's love? What was it, the Beatles song? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? We live in fear of losing someone's love, or at least many people do. And Paul here, to show that we can't, we've got to say, I become a Christian, but what if I turn away? What if God lets me go? Well, Paul argues from the greater to the lesser. And if you grasp this, if you understand Paul's argument, it's so helpful and it's so practical. So what he's saying is this: how do we know God is for us? What did God do? Well, Isaiah 53 verse 4, he bore our griefs and carried our sorrows. He was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. God gave his son up for us all. Now I might like you, I might even, love you. What am I going to give you? I might give you something that I own. Would I ever give you one of my children? No. I just can't imagine that scenario ever, but God gave his son. Octavius Winslow says, who delivered Jesus up to die? Not Judas for money, nor Pilate for fear, nor the Jews for envy, but the Father for love. He gave his own son. We're coming towards Christmas. And as we think about that, we realize that it's just an incredible thing to think that God gave his own son. When the fullness of time was come, God sent his son, born of a woman, made under the law. Galatians 4:4. And there's this phenomenal cost. When in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus sweated, as it were, great drops of blood. My God, why have you forsaken me? Excuse me, let me continue. Now, there are those who deny the atonement. I'm thinking of Rob Bell and Steve Chalk, who say love wins, and they think they're magnifying the love of God, but they're not. They are diminishing the love of God. They are robbing it of its glory. They're saying God didn't need to give his son. They're saying it didn't cost God anything. Actually, the love that they are talking about is an extremely cheap love. And he gave him up for us all. Verse 32. Well, who are the us all there? Well, as we saw last week, they are from verse 28. God works for the good of those who love him, who've been called according to his purpose. If God has delivered his son up for me, then he's not going to abandon me. That's really the point, isn't it? When you might think, well, I've committed this sin or I've done that, do you really think that your sin is greater than the atonement that Christ made? So the conclusion is simply this. You want to know if God loves you. You want to show your love for someone, you do something for them, you buy something for them. I know it's Christmas and we don't buy big gifts and all that kind of stuff. Well, some of us don't. But the person I'll buy the biggest gift for is my wife and my children. Those of you who are my friends, you'll be lucky to get anything. But, God expressed his love by giving us just this fabulous gift. God can never do anything greater than to show you his love. People think, well, God loves me because I prayed for healing, I got a job, my family are doing well. But what if these things are not happening? Does that mean that God hates you? I think God has graciously and freely given us his son. Abraham was prepared to give his son, but was spared. God did give his son. And when I survey the wondrous cross on which the Prince of Glory died, my richest gain I count but loss. and pour contempt on all my pride. I'm going to leave you with my good friend Colin Buchanan here, his version of When I Survey. Hang on and listen to this. It is really, really beautiful. But if you want the proof that God loves you, then just think what and who he gave you, his son. You couldn't be more loved. God bless you, and see you tomorrow for Coffee with Job, and see you next Sunday as we come towards the end of Romans chapter 8. Bye.
Well, hello, Colin Buchanan with you, and I'm in lockdown in 2020. And a friend of mine, Peter, who's been organising some DVDs for elderly people in his congregation in Wagga Wagga, asked, would I sing some songs, some hymns that some of the oldies could enjoy. And being one of the oldies, I thought, great idea. I want to sing one of my favourite hymns now, and I want to read this verse to you first, and this is from Colossians chapter 1 verse 19. For God was pleased to have all his fullness dwell in him, that's Jesus, and through him, through Jesus, to reconcile to himself all things, whether things on earth or things in heaven, by making peace through his blood shed on the cross. The wonder of the cross is that God reconciles sinners like me and you to himself. In fact, he reconciles all things. The cross is that central moment in history where God is about his saving purposes. And so singing a song that marvels at the cross is a great thing to do. I think we're going to do a lot of marveling at the cross for a long, long time together throughout eternity. So this is When I Survey the Wondrous Cross. And the idea is that you sing it with me, so we'll sing it together, all right? When I survey the wondrous cross on which the Prince of glory died, my riches gain I count but loss, and pour contempt on all my pride. Forbid it, Lord, that I should boast, save in the death of Christ my God. All the vain things that charm me most, I sacrifice them through his blood. See from his hand, his hands, his feet, sorrow and love flow mingled down. Did such love and sorrow meet, or thorns compose so rich a crown? Were the whole realm of nature mine, that were an It is wondrous, isn't it?